Let us know if
Whoa.
you got Oasis tickets in the
Yeah.
comments.
You know who didn't get Oasis tickets? Louis
Louis Tomlinson.
Tomlinson.
Now seating for Empty Theater Club.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Empty Theater Club, a podcast for people who caption their end of summer post with, "Oh, it was a summer a la J-Lo." I'm Val.
I'm Cam. Welcome back. It's been a
Welcome
minute.
back. Well, today's episode, we felt a small breeze in the air. We saw a leaf fall, and we thought, it's Labor Day. This is our back to school episode where we will be revisiting how to tackle the end of summer blues with our favorite back to school media. But before we get into that, we will also be unpacking the Venice Film Festival hype and also discussing the notorious, now infamous fall of the Brazil fandom empire on Twitter.
In memoriam.
In memoriam. Yeah, rip come to Brazil memes. But I will say all of that needs to be wrapped the fuck up by Gladiator. I want Pedro Pascal updates like back. Like
they gotta figure this shit out.
They have got this is gonna ruin the world tour.
Actually, it's so crazy.
All of my favorite fashion accounts on Twitter are somehow Brazilian.
God, everybody was Brazilian. Timothy Chalamet updates. I'm pretty sure Paul Mescal and Daisy Edgar Jones update. Like fucking everybody was Brazil.
Everyone was Brazil. Joe Soy Brazil. Like hashtag. Let's do it. Let's trend it.
Latino Brazil. Come on,
please.
I know.
Yeah, it's really sad.
It was just so quick. That was the thing. I mean, we're going into it now, but it was so. We had what 24 hours and.
No, it was truly terrible. It's a category 5. It was a category 5.
Snap. I hate to say it, but yeah, I mean,
it was not good. Also, I'm kind of confused by the legality. Like, I get why, but Elon, you will pay for your war crimes. Yeah, you know how the expression goes: the sun never sets on the Brazil Twitter fandom. Absolutely crazy. So that's happening in the zeitgeist. Makes me sad, but. Another thing that's happening. Honestly, wait, before we get into that, I do want to talk about this because I kind of talked about it last time with Volley Endowed, but like I'm so serious about this. Since I have been traveling a lot internationally, I've been having my airline era of just knowing the catalog of what Delta Airlines has to offer online. And let me say, once again, Delta Airlines is pandering to young women and cinephiles. Like that is their audience right now. So flying to States, I was watching Vogue Beauty Secrets, Architectural Digest, like tours, and there's Call Me by Your Name, American Beauty,
well,
Sopranos, and Succession. I watched Drop Dead Gorgeous, I rewatched Hairspray, and I watched Robot Dreams.
Okay,
which was so good. Yeah,
wow. You texted me, was like, is Monkey Man a good plane movie? And I was like, yeah. But by the time I replied, it was sent as a text message.
It was. I wasn't
not gonna know.
She's not.
I mean, it's not a good plane movie, but like, it's just. I just wanted to watch it. I thought you had watched it.
I didn't want to watch anything like anxiety inducing because I knew it was going to be a bumpy ride. It was funny though, when I was coming back to the Midwest, there were a group of guys, like a gaggle of boys across the aisle from me. And they were like, I saw their lives being changed in real time because they're looking through the catalog and they're making a list of movies that they should see. And there's a group of 3. So one of them said they would see Oppenheimer. The other one said The Iron Claw, and the other one said Anatomy of a Fall. And it was so tender. They both like submitted like which movie they wanted to watch. And they all pressed
top 4, like amazing.
Yeah, I know. But it was so funny because one of the men was writing down the list. And just like seeing them go back and forth being like, no, we each pick one. But when they all press play on Oppenheimer, I said, well, I'm going to sit back and watch as well.
To play too. I'm joining y'all.
I'm pausing mine. Let me pause Zoe Kravitz.
Countdown again. Yeah.
Let me pause Zoe Kravitz Beauty Secrets and say, was that Cillian Murphy? Does Air Force One have little TVs that you can watch movies on? Because I would get bored as hell just talking about policy all the time. Like I'm on an 8-hour plane ride. I want to watch a movie. I want to watch Modern Family. Like I want to watch just something that keeps me up at night.
We need to get to the bottom of this. I'll let you know in
Yeah.
Veep if it's progressed, which I have recently started watching. So
Yeah.
season two. I'm on season
Yeah.
two.
Oh my God. Wow. Already?
Well, because I think I told you I had previously watched
Oh,
some of
right.
it. So I started from episode 5 of season 1. It's gonna start playing because I went back to Max to see what episode I'm on in season 2. So
Yeah.
excuse me.
Did it. Yeah. So good.
I'm gonna go meet the Helsinki. It's like the Swedish, like the girl, the other girl. I'm really excited to meet her.
Minna.
Yes, I'm on season 2,
Okay.
episode 5. So
Okay.
excited for that. But
Yeah. Veep is, wow. You've heard it here first.
I do think
You
Veep
started
is,
Veep.
I know that this is like a mandatory event for all people who watch Veep to go through is to find Dan attractive. But I do.
And you do. And you do. Yeah.
That's all I had to
He's
say.
gorgeous. He's
Yeah.
salt and pepper hair and Law and Order. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think people know that.
I also really want to rewatch Mayor of Easttown, so I don't know. That might
Mm.
slip there somewhere.
Like that might slip in there too.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I was actually just on Letterboxd, I think yesterday or the day before, and I was thinking about as one does. I was looking through Kate Winslet's discography.
Right.
I'm like, damn, your royalties go crazy.
Right. Yeah.
Like she's set, but you know who has like a bad
Avatar too.
discography?
Anybody who's in Avatar is like good forever. I mean, she wasn't
I mean, Titanic
too. I know.
Like she's set.
Yeah.
Also, you know what I need to rewatch, I guess. Revolutionary Road.
I've never seen. I know the spoiler for the end, so that's kind of why I haven't seen it.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think I want to go through that. So I'm just.
I do.
No.
With Leo and my mom said I've never kicked harder than whenever she was watching Titanic and pregnant with me. So cinephile from birth.
I'm always thinking about Titanic. Who's not, right?
Yeah, right.
That's crazy that it was like. I think in my head, I always thought it was like in the Pacific Ocean. That shit was up. I know the water was cold, but I never.
That's across the pond.
But it's also like they were close to New York. It's not that far away. It's crazy.
No, they're so close. What really like.
That shit's just up there. Get it out of there.
It makes my stomach hurt. It literally makes me like dizzy and my stomach hurt thinking about like there's a photo of Titanic.
Being in water is crazy to me. Being on a boat is how do we know how to navigate that shit?
Not what the hell is it not? What the hell is it not?
Like it's I can't fathom. The idea of going into space makes more sense to me than going in the ocean because at least you can see Earth. You can read the map. And
I wonder, like from a media perspective, do we have more media about, and I'm meaning this like media by like books as well, like literature canon, like the text on space or on water? Because like we've had both forever. And like I would love to know like which culture is.
Well, and it's not even like, I mean, the ocean inside the water is a whole other thing. But I just think if you're in the middle of the ocean and you can't see anything but water and sky, like that's terrifying.
It's so peaceful. Oh.
I think it's peaceful too, but also terrifying. Okay. Anyway, off of that, whatever, I don't even know how the fuck we got there. So
travel.
Venice is happening too. Speaking about water and boats.
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking about the boats. Venice is back. Venice, I said something that Cam did not like, but I'm gonna say it again. They're having a cunt off at Venice. It is so good. Everyone's looking so cunty and so chic. Venice is eating Cannes up this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cannes is the classic, and Venice wants to be her so bad.
But this year, it's just like it's incredibly chic. And I don't not to like overuse that word, but it's been incredible to see this year. I think like there's just something to it this year. I don't know if it was the Mew Mew of it all.
Yeah, I think there's more buzzes around the films. I think we just have more films we're excited for, like Maria and Baby Girl.
I can't wait for when Baby Girl drops this podcast. Like that kind of might be the end. Like that kind of might be like, well, that was the peak cinema for us.
Yeah, I know. I think it's gonna be really, really good.
So for people who don't know, like some of the movies that have been premiered at Venice, which have been already critically acclaimed. I know we're really excited for Maria, which is starring Angelina Jolie and directed by Pablo Larraín. And, you know, if you have been a listener, you know that we love Pablo's work when it comes to biopics for women. And he is the director of Jackie, big fan here on the pod, Spencer. and we're really excited for that one. So that is a biopic that will cover the opera singer Maria Callas, starring Angelina Jolie, as we said. So, and this is like marking her big Hollywood comeback.
Oh, I think 100%.
And there's never been a cooler girl. Her back tattoo, God, talk about, like, incredible. I was like, wait, I need to get lip filler and a back tattoo, and also need to watch this movie. And at the time of this recording, Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton had a 17-minute standing ovation.
Holy shit, 17 minutes.
The longest of the 2024. Yeah, the longest one.
And that was
The Room Next Door.
Rose film?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
It's eating it up. Eating it up. I love a Julianne Moore. Like, she's so fall to me, fall, winter. She's FW to me. But I don't know. I feel like Venice is such a insane time because it happens every year, but it signifies the end of summer and the beginning of fall. It's a change of season in the industry, in the world. And it just, I don't know, it makes me emo.
Yeah, I mean, I just wrote about this for the Rolling Tape, but it's like the start of the fall award season. We're getting into pre-award season buzz. Venice kicks off when all of these movies hit theaters. So it's kind of interesting to see those early reactions. We're about to get TIFF started too, London Film, NIF. So that's the weird thing about Cannes is it comes out at such a weird time. And then
I'm kind of in denial that summer's over. I'm sorry.
Charlie XCX just tweeted, "Goodbye forever, Brat Summer."
Yeah, and she posted a photo dump that is now on our Instagram story of Brat Summer compilations, and there was a fan edit of Jack Schlossberg on there.
Oh.
And it's liked by Jack Schlossberg, liked by Jack Uno.
I just will say about Venice, I kind of don't care. Sorry, I'm kind of in my anti-movie era right now. I just like don't care. I texted the other day. I said, what exactly did I say? I remember I was like, as much as I love films, I would rather shoot myself in the head than watch a movie. That's how I've been feeling lately.
I feel the same way. And especially, like, I know for me, I'm blaming it on, can't believe I'm gonna say this, but like, honestly, like the sports and just like life, where I'm like, I was so consumed this year with like the Euro Cup, the Olympics, now like the Wimbledon, F1, and now like the US Open. And like the summer was really a summer for new hobbies and it's kind of like taking time for myself. And movies have obviously been so core for me. And there's always a movie for every situation, which is nice. But it was like, it really is that quote of all I've waited for is Georgia O'Keeffe quote. All I've waited for in August is like to become myself again. And I think that's kind of what happened is like we both kind of were
I think you're right. Yeah.
Information overload.
Yeah. And I think movie season for me, like now that it is September and fall, in 2 weeks, I'll be back into it. And I will.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yes.
Reviews. I just I've been out of it. So it's like, okay, to me, looking at Venice reviews and reactions and just being in the circles that we are in, I'm like stressed out about the fact I haven't read the reviews for this or I haven't cared about this. And it's like, I've talked about this before. I never want watching movies to be a chore for me.
Right.
And right now, it like kind of is. So I just need it to be November.
Fun again.
Yeah, it'll be fun again. It's just not right now. That's why I think I don't care about stuff.
Yeah.
I'll get into it later. All right. I think let's segue into our segment for the day, which, Val is back in Madrid to continue her education. It's back to school season, folks. Summer is done.
Yes. It's famously done.
I had a beef stew for lunch today. Yeah.
Oof. Yeah. Lentils are back. It's soup season is almost back.
So we have a fun special today. We are going to be ranking our top 10 favorite back to school films. This is very loosely inspired by Screen Drafts. If you haven't checked out that podcast, it's an amazing, very fun where they do rankings. We already know what the number one pick is, right? Val and I know what the number one.
Let's say it together. The ultimate back to school movie is 10 things
I hate about you. Yeah, that was really coordinated. Yeah. So we know that's the best film, right? Like there's no argument.
No argument on that one.
And we'll talk about
Argue with the wall. Yeah, argue with the wall.
But, number 2 through number 10 up in the air. So somebody is going to have number 10, number 8, number 6, number 4, and number 2. The other person is going to have 3, 5, 7, 9. And because that person has the less picks, they will get to veto one of the options the other person says. So we're kind of working against each other. We're kind of working as a team to make sure our films that we think are the best back to school films get to be put on this list. So what we're going to do to decide who gets to pick which slots there are is play 6 Degrees. I don't know if you guys have played this, but basically you pick 2 actors and you have to connect them through their filmography. So, you know, if you get Kate Winslet and I don't know, Leonardo DiCaprio, you would be like, oh, they're both in Titanic, and or oh, she's in this movie and he's in that movie with this person, and blah blah blah. So first person who gets it gets to decide what slots they get. So we're gonna look at the cards. I have 2 ready. If we don't like it, we can pick other people.
Okay.
All right, it's Eva Mendes. That's hard, and Kristen Wiig. Eva Mendes is hard.
Oh, does it have to be film, or does it have to be like just media that have been connected?
I usually do film, but if you want to do TV, we can. It's fine. It has to be like.
I'm gonna do starting with Kristen Wiig. And Eva Mendes. What is? God, that's hard. Wait, that's hard.
Okay. I think I have something though. Eva Mendes is with Ryan Gosling in The Place Beyond the Pines. Ryan Gosling is with Kate McKinnon in Barbie. Kate McKinnon is with
SNL.
Ghostbusters is what I was gonna do. I'm gonna do movies because it's just how my brain works.
Okay,
and then Melissa McCarthy is with Kristen
Bridesmaids.
Wiig. Bridesmaids.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a good one.
So I win.
Okay. I'm like, do another one though. This was fun.
So I am going to go for what do I want? Oh, this is really tough. Do I want more picks or do I want a veto?
I know.
The thing is, I'm actually really not like too competitive about my list. I feel very like I'm open to see where stuff goes, but I also don't trust you. So I'm gonna go for 3, 5, 7, 9, and I want to be the person with the veto. Yeah, well, let's just kind of get into it and we can talk about each of our picks as we get there, because I do think back to school is kind of a broad topic. There's different vibes associated with all of these picks, I'm sure. At least that's how mine is. So yeah, what's your number 10? What are you gonna play for number 10 for best?
For number 10, I will probably do, I'm gonna say, just for number 10. Yeah, number 10, I'm gonna do John Tucker Must Die.
Oh, interesting.
I think it's a perfect like teen high school movie that kind of gets forgotten in the zeitgeist. But I do love a film when any group of women come together and realize that the common enemy is not their fellow woman, it is the cheating man. I do love that trope, and I love when they get very creative on how to sabotage. It shows inspiration, it gives something for people to look up to, and I think it's a fun plot. So that's my number 10 pick, where it's not too high up, but it's definitely one where it gets me in the back to school spirit. But you can never pay me to go back to high school, but like it is one.
No, that's a great pick. I think you're right. It's kind of an underrated one, especially in that era of films. I feel like the early 2000s give us so many kind of back to school.
Right, exactly. Like there's the obvious ones, but like I think this is one that kind of gets slips through the cracks.
Yeah, I loved this movie when I was younger, but I think for me, I was always like, they seem so old. Like they're so like.
Well, there's something about Y2K movies and casting, specifically, where I'm like, I know there are 17-year-olds. Cast one.
And just like everybody was having sex like this, like crazy. I guess it's not my high school experience, but I do think it very much does resonate with me with school and what I imagined it would be like for like my older sisters who were in high school at the time. What that was like.
That's crazy.
Solid choice. I'm riding with you on this one. Okay. So for number 9, this is kind of out of pocket because it's actually a summer movie. It does not take place during the school year.
Okay.
But
that's okay.
I think it is a back to school movie because I remember like watching it in school, if that makes sense. And that is the 2005 film Because of Winn-Dixie.
Oh my God.
And you can't veto, so it's secured on the list.
It's secure on the list.
Love this movie. I love the book too. I remember reading it. It's like she moves to a new town, so you're kind of getting like the new kid stuff, which feels very much at school. I think also when we think back to school, we think like high school movies. There's not a lot of back to school famous movies that are elementary age. But I think there are a lot of, like most Disney or Nickelodeon movies are set in that era, and I think we need to pay homage to that. So even though this like does happen over the course of summer, it feels like the end of summer. It feels like you're getting ready to go back to school.
It's a new chapter. Like even if something happened in the summer, it was something new. I love Anna Sophia Robb. I love love Dave Matthews in this.
Yeah.
Randomly. And Elle Fanning is also in it, if I remember correctly.
Well, and I believe even the old lady, like the witch, is like an iconic actress. Let me look who it is. Well, it's Cicely Tyson. Cicely Tyson. Oh, yeah.
Icon of icons. We love Cicely Tyson down. Yeah. Oh my God. No,
it's is in it. That's funny.
Yeah, no, it is an incredible movie. This was during the era of like Anna Sophia Robb not overnight success, but you know what I mean? And he went to go on to play the Carrie in the Carrie Diaries, but also Jeff Daniels. Like this is great cast. I do love Because of Winn-Dixie. And I do remember watching it. I didn't have a dog at the time when I first watched it. I remember thinking like, God, she's so cool. She came up with the name because of the grocery store. Got this dog. Like, I was like, that's pure wit. And I see eye to eye with her. Yeah. So I definitely love what this taught me. Definitely some life lessons were there. I'm due for a rewatch.
Okay, so what's your number 8 pick?
Number 8. God, yeah, that was staying a little tough.
I will say so I ranked 15. I picked 15 films that I brought with me today. Because of Winn-Dixie was number 8 on my list. So it's about I had it on my own list actually.
This is number 8 because I think I'm not going to get too competitive yet. Yeah. I think I want to go for solid choices that I think that should still be on this list.
It's tough because there's also films that I'm like, I think, if you Google back to school movies, there's films that come up that I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But because of that, I'm like, I don't know if I want it on our list. I don't want it to be stereotypical. I'm like, yeah, there's 2 films especially, maybe 3 that we can shout out before we get to then that I'm like, I don't know if I really care if they're played on my list.
My thing is I'm like, I want these to go up higher, and I'm mad that after this I gotta play my cards right. Okay, so I'm gonna say for number 8, because this is still kind of low. Number 8, School of Rock.
Okay, yeah, I've actually never seen, so it's not on my list. No.
Oh my God. School of Rock is unironically one of like the greatest films ever made. It's kind of up there with like Super 8. Now I kind of want to change my answer to Super 8. Like, I'm like, fuck, that's such a good.
Not either. So the like Steven Spielberg, is it Steven Spielberg? The like alien Super 8? Okay. Yeah. Right. J.J. Abrams, that's who it is.
J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to stick with it. I'm locking in.
I think School of Rock. Super 8 I maybe would have vetoed because I haven't seen, but School of Rock, I feel like I have enough respect for it that it should be there.
I do love that movie. I'm locking it in. It's great.
I think that's a good pick. God, this is so hard, actually. I think my next one, I'm going to, again, play one that I don't think you will play this, so that's why I'm going to play it. There's 2 films that I'm like going to fight that they're on the list, but this one I think would be a good one. And that is the 2005 film Sky High. Superhero film.
Yeah. Oh, I'm familiar with the text. I'm familiar with the sacred text.
I love this movie so much. I remember watching it all the time as a kid, anytime it was on television. It obviously takes place in a superhero school, so that's fitting. But also there's like prom. There's a titular prom scene, which seems important. I love the like Chinese restaurant. I don't know. I just think this is a great film, like generally one of our best movies ever made. But I don't know if I like, and it is a school movie, right? Like it's like a floating school.
Yeah. I mean, has Kurt Russell ever looked better?
Right. Yeah.
Also, I love
the like bad guy that then like gets with Danielle that
Well,
actress, Tana Baker, like I love that.
This is really funny. This is really interesting for you to say.
I think there's a lot of Disney movies that like, I mean, we'll get to the ones that aren't on the list because there's some that I'm like, we need to talk about this as a film, but I don't think it should be too high because it's like not only a school. It's not a film about school completely, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm like sold on this one entirely.
So that's fine. It doesn't matter.
I know. It's locked in. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say for number 6 is Wild Child.
I have not seen this movie. I've never even heard of it in my life.
Oh, you absolutely need to watch. It is with our queen, Emma Roberts. It's beautiful. It's so good. It follows like this character named Poppy. She's a fashion girl. I loved it. I feel like Wild Child goes along with like, if you liked The Click, the book series, you'll like Wild Child. If you like LOL with like Miley Cyrus and Demi Moore, like that style of media, I ate that shit up. I still do. So I really liked that. I really like this movie. It also has all the classic tropes that make a great movie. Number 1, Emma Roberts. Number 2, a teenage girl with money. 3, boarding school in England.
Oh, very.
Because so like Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging, but a little bit more grown up.
I like this pick actually. I think this is very fun, and I could see myself becoming obsessed with it. So
yeah.
Okay, number 5. Oh, this is so hard. I'm just gonna go. The thing is, there are 2 films, and I'm sure we'll talk about them, that I think are like good movies, like actually like critically acclaimed, good movies that capture like the feeling like coming of age and being a student in school. Actually, there's 3 that I think are amazing, and I don't want people to be like, if they're not on the list, like we're stupid.
Yeah. And I know 2 of the 3 that you're talking about.
I think you probably know all 3 actually.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
I don't know. I'm not mad. Like if you want to name them on the list, that's fine. One of these is literally my number 3. Like it's very high up. But just thinking about it now and the mood I'm in today, I'm like, I want this to be, I don't know,
funny and cute,
a little more fun. And I feel like there's nothing more fun than a movie musical.
Yeah.
And a musical that takes place in a high school.
So
my number 5 pick is High School Musical, the first one.
That could have gone 12 different ways when you said musical that takes place in a high school and the titular High School Musical. Oh, I'm so
It's a titular High School Musical.
We have to hand Kenny Ortega a blank check again right now. He needs 10 bands. Give him a blank check. So good.
High School Musical 2 is my favorite out of all of them, but that's a summer movie. That's not a school movie. This is in the school. It's basketball. It's musical.
It's a new semester. Famously.
New students. I also think the ages that we were when this came out, probably like 9 or 10. Like,
we were younger. 5. We were 5. We were like, I remember
having the Barbies and having their outfits, and it's like that's crazy. Like I just cared so much about this so deeply, and High School Musical was essential for our coming of age that I think it needs to be on here. I mean, I had the High School Musical book bags. Like my back to school High School Musical coded.
Zac Efron was my first ever like real crush. Zac Efron and Leonardo DiCaprio were my first crushes. And High School Musical, the premiere, it's near and dear to my heart. The premiere it was my first sleepover, like that I hosted because I was so obsessed. I was so excited for this. It was the first sleepover I was allowed to host. I had some friends over and we were like 5. Like seriously, we're babies. And Zac Efron comes on the screen. I got up and kissed the television. My mother was horrified. She said, my 5-year-old daughter did what? Because I had never seen I had never seen that sorry. In the words of Sabrina Carpenter, can't help myself, hormones are high. At 5 years old, I was like, I love you. I've always loved Zac Efron. I believe that, and I just watched Hairspray on the plane. Like he is a once in a generation talent.
Cool musical, yeah.
The dribble scene, the get your head in the game, they learned that within like 2 hours from when they perfected it to the one take continuous shot. And I was such a big High School Musical fan growing up. My sister and I were. That Lucas Grabeel is from Springfield, like our hometown. in Missouri. And at that time, we weren't living in Springfield, but he's from Missouri nonetheless. And somehow, like, my dad met his dad. Somehow, I don't know how this happened, but we got a signed poster from Lucas Grabeel, like a High School Musical poster. That is definitely a family heirloom, but it's my family, like my lineage. So I'm such a huge High School Musical fan. This is absolute best choice. It could have gone even higher, and I would have let it happen.
Yeah, I think this is a good spot for it. I think this is a good, but very fun. I'm so glad that you feel the same.
My choice for number 4 is Stuck in the Suburbs, who also has Daniel Panabaker in it. That's why I was like, yep. I love this movie. It has Taran Killam, Brenda Song. It is incredible. It covers a lot of trials and tribulations of what it means to be a fangirl, what it means to be a young girl, and what it means to want to always blame the location that you grew up in when that's just sometimes not the case. It's definitely ingrained in my being. I think it's great. And it's also like a sporty fashion movie that I loved. So I think it should be on there. It's definitely back to school for me.
I love this movie so much. I loved it a lot when I was a kid. I don't know if I associate it with back to school. That's my hang up with it. When I think of locations for it, I think of the suburban house, all looking the same. I think of them running around town, like they climb in that like hole, like the big pipe.
I just remember my rebuttal is this because Brenda Song is a new girl in town, so it's a new school year because they weren't originally friends.
I love this movie, but I just don't know if I like it. I have a veto that I feel like I need to use.
You're going to use it on Stuck in the Suburbs?
Just because I don't think it's back to school enough, honestly.
Okay.
I mean, maybe you can move it higher then, but I don't think you will, is the thing. I love this movie, but I just it's not school enough. So I'm gonna use my veto. Might as well.
Okay.
I'm gonna use veto.
Okay. So for 4, you're not gonna like what I say now.
Oh no.
You gotta be careful because I think at one point you have said you didn't really like this movie, and I love this movie. Number 4 now is Rushmore.
Oh, I've never seen Rushmore. I do have this on my list because I feel like it should be on this list. So
yeah, Rushmore is so like Wes Anderson. It's obviously Wes Anderson film, but it's so like a Nickelodeon movie if it was directed by Wes Anderson. It's so absurd. I love it. I have a photo of with Jason Schwartzman holding up on my mirror. It's an edit of Jason Schwartzman. Instead of holding up like the book he's holding up, it says it's the Sofia Coppola archive photo instead. Yeah. So I do love this movie. I think it's fair. It's obviously very back to school, and I think it's one of Wes Anderson's like first films that he made.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was his the bottle, like his short film, and then this one. So yeah, I do think Rushmore is like kind of the titular back to school movie if you like were to Google it. So I added it to my list even though, but I think it's a good one. I think it's a good pick. And I like that it's not a Disney Channel original movie or something like that. I think it's
taste. So yeah, that's my number 4 then, because that was my original number 4. But I just wanted to throw a wild card to see where it landed.
My number 3, I'm really torn because I think what I want number 2 to be, I don't think you're going to say it. But to me, this is like the ultimate back to school movie.
Okay.
Besides 10 Things I Hate About You. So I'm going to go ahead and say it.
Okay.
I actually don't like this film because I watched it too much when I was little, and I would watch it like at my grandma's house and like
I think I know what you're gonna say.
Ladybugs in her house, like just sometimes like my grandma's house never felt like a safe space,
Okay.
This was the film, the 1985 film directed by John Hughes, The Breakfast Club, is my number 3 pick. What? You don't like it? I'm sorry.
I did not have this on my list.
Wow, really?
The way that I feel about The Breakfast Club after all these years is how I feel about Sweet Caroline. White people love that shit.
I hate this movie. That's the thing. I don't like this movie. I thought it was a personal thing. So I'm really sorry. But
God, really? We're going to have this as number 3 on our list?
Yeah. And the thing that I think is why this is something that I wanted to play the kind of like idle boredom that they depict in the movie, but also that I feel when I watch this movie because I don't get it, I think is very back to school. I think
we're waiting for something to change, but it doesn't change. The only thing that we can change is ourselves.
It's like the bad parts about school. It's like 4 weeks into it when it's like, oh, this sucks. I kind of hate this here.
Yeah.
I hate staring
honeymoon
at the
era is done.
Each minute, being with these people who are kind of stupid. Like, I don't like any of these characters. I hate the sensation of waiting, but I think there's something inherently very school life to
about it. Yeah.
Deserves to be on this list. It kind of, captures those more mundane days. Not only the film, like I'm not even giving credit to the film. It's like my negative reaction to the film is what I think makes this a good back to school pick, if that makes sense.
Because school isn't always fun. That's the whole thing.
No, yeah. So yeah, that's my number 3 pick. I'm sorry. I'm glad you weren't gonna play it. I'm glad it's where it's at then.
Yeah, and I'm glad we both hate it. I don't know. I'm at a loss because I have 3 movies that could be number 2.
Yeah.
And I could do the route that it needs to be. It truly just needs to be number 2. Or I could do the other route that should have been number 3.
And I'm sorry.
Or I could do another movie which has back to school elements in it, or at least it has new school year to come elements in it. And you can't veto it. For the audience at home, this list, as we've made it clear before, this is not your typical back to school list. It clearly does not have all the classics on it. I'm pissed that the Breakfast Club weaseled its way in. But I'm going to say number 2 is Step Up, the first one.
Yeah, it's a good pick. Yeah.
I love it. I think it's great.
I'm surprised that did not like Bring It On.
Right. But I think Step Up is underrated. And I think we should have a Step Up renaissance. Tyler and Nora, that was love. To me, ballet, hip hop, love it. Yeah, it's great. I think it's a back to school flick. It's because it's talking about her future. She wants to go to that like art school. It's all about this audition leading up. Yeah, so I think Step Up. I'm going to lock in Step Up as number 2.
I do think there needs to be like dance movies seem to be a big thing. I mean, we talked about
I'm saying this.
Dance, like in cheerleading too. There was kind of that whole like renaissance of those types of films that feel very school era for us.
Yeah, so that's my number 2. Okay, well, that's our list. Number 1.
Let's talk about some honorable mentions before we go into number. Some other ones I had, obviously, like Mean Girls. I hate Mean Girls as a series, so I didn't want to list it. Easy A.
Easy A was also on mine.
I don't think of Clueless as like a school movie necessarily.
Me either.
And then, which I think there's 2 of these movies. I had A Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff, and
I also had A Cinderella Story.
Another Cinderella Story with Selena Gomez.
With Juicy.
Yeah, I think those are like
I can't imagine something.
That's why I was like, that's so kind of Step Up.
The heart. Whenever I'm in a mirror, like just know I'm doing this.
He's on one side and she's on the other. I also think Twitches. Is it good thing? They're going to the whole thing.
So good.
And then the 3 that I was talking about earlier that were like kind of critically acclaimed, 8th Grade being one of them, but I don't feel like that's like a school movie. I feel like that's more an age movie. Now the 2 that are school movies, Bookworm, I think that's one. But again, I'm like, I don't consider like college. Like that's like them graduating. And then
Booksmart.
Booksmart, sorry.
Yeah.
And then my number 3 pick was The Edge of 17, with Haley
Steinfeld, yeah.
Yeah, I
Can you believe that came out when I was 17? Like I remember, like I was like,
yeah, I remember so crazy too. And I remember thinking it was a really good depiction of that age, but now I just didn't want it on there. I wanted to have more fun with this. What other ones did you have that didn't get played that you think?
And another one I have is 17 again, but not the one with Zac Efron. The one with Tia and Tamara and their younger brother. I love that movie. It was incredible. It was about like I don't know if it gives me back to school energy. That's the only thing where I'm like, it gives me fall. And so that's why I was like, I'm not going to play this.
And that's how I feel like about is I was like, this is like a Halloween. Like,
Halloween right.
It's like great, those
totally. It's like not back to school, but it is like fall comfort. So 17 again. Oh, obviously Lady Bird
Oh yeah,
was on
duh,
there.
right.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted
But
Lady
again,
Bird to like.
I think like coming of age is like that doesn't feel like
Yes.
school to me. I don't
Well,
know. Yeah.
she's going to school, but I also feel like that is so like she's going to what is it, NYU. And another one that I just love so much, but it's a classic where I was like, it doesn't need to be on this list because it's on list. People know Dead Poet Society, obviously.
For sure. Right. Yeah.
Another one, I also had Carrie.
I think that's a good one. The prom blood. Yeah, love it. Love
Mm-hmm.
that. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, I'm like Halloween, like,
Yeah, right, exactly. And then there's Grease, where that's where I first thought what you were going to say with the high school. I was like, well, this could go either way. But
Mhm.
yeah, and I think, but I do like our list. I do like, what was our number 9? What did you say?
Number 9. Yeah, so here I'll go through. So our list is number 10, John Tucker Must Die. Number 9, Because of What You Say. Number 8, School of Rock. Number 7, Sky High. Number 6, Wild Child. Number 5, High School Musical. Number 4, Rushmore. Number 3, The Breakfast Club. Number 2, Step Up. And number 1, 10 Things I Hate About You. I feel like our back to school list is also just like back to school for like us going back to school. Like these were movies that were pivotal at the time we were going into
So we
school.
were, yeah. I love 10 Things About Hate, 10 Things I Hate About You. I think this is a perfect number 1 film. Incredible cast. It's what I think about. It's what I dream about in terms of love. I'm just a girl. Like, this is crazy. Like, this is all I want is I just want to be able to like write a letter to a boy and have him tear up a bit. Would I do that in my high school class? No. But
Right.
it's simply so cool. Kat is awesome. The shot of her reading the bell jar.
I
My
know.
God,
I know.
incredible.
Yeah.
I don't like when people online are like, she would listen to Chappell Roan. I'm telling you now, she wouldn't. That's her whole thing. She's a contrarian at her core. I also love like Shakespearean adjacent media. As everything nowadays is Romeo and Juliet, so I do like that something that's not. Yeah, I love Kat. Julia Stiles is so good. Julia Stiles, I think, is one of my first favorite actresses. I think Julia Stiles and Kristen Dunst were my first, like, I love these people movies. And Gabrielle Union, speaking of Bring It On, she's great. I love that she's like a producer now, like producer director, who she also produced Blink Twice, which I just saw. So yeah, and obviously like I'm gonna let you talk about Heath Ledger because like I can't.
Fine.
Yeah, I can't.
I think you're 10 Things I Hate About You. Perfect balance of school life and at home life in this. Like, yeah, I think also we probably just like relate to her as a character. Like, I feel like that's how I probably was in school sometimes. Like,
and Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I know, and David Krumholtz from Oppenheimer. Come on.
They've all gotten their own. They did their Nolan movies.
They did, except Julia Stiles. We need to get her in one. That's crazy, actually.
We have to give her.
This is crazy that they've all done a Nolan movie. Wow, what is going on?
Right? Like Heath Ledger, David, Joseph Gordon-Levitt have all done it.
Joseph's got a few under his belt. Wow, crazy.
Yeah,
and it's a movie I have fun with every time I rewatch it. I never get bored of it. I really enjoy.
The dancing scene, like I even to this day, which first of all, we are the same. It was 1999, so I'm the same age as this movie, which makes me dizzy. I have a gray hair thinking about that, but I feel the same way. The first time I watched this, as the way I watch this now, even as I'm the same age as this movie, like I want the bravery of Kat on dancing on the table.
Right.
Like I love what that scene was. And then
so true. Like
he like goes, and he goes and like takes her off. Like that's the dream. It's so equivalent to like in Girls, sorry to bring it up, but it's so equivalent to like Hannah having a breakdown and then Adam quite literally running to her apartment and saving her. And like not to make the trope being like, I want to be saved by a man, because like I don't, but like I want romantic attention and I'll say it.
Right. And I think like that's what's so great about this relationship though, is that she is like this independent, smart person who thinks she don't need a man. And then she gets weak, she falls for somebody, but there's like a respect there. Like there's a mutual respect. It's never him like saving her. It's just like them being. So I think it's like the relationship we long for. And I think it's fun to like They're so
because
young.
he lets her be. He lets her be her, and that's the whole thing. Like she can't understand. She's trying to be like, well, let me just be myself, and you'll see that you don't like me. And he's like, no, I'm actually deeply in love with you.
Yeah, and I think at that age,
so
watching a film like that, to be like, oh my God, you've been like this. Like 17-year-old me would be like there's no men or
there's
like
no man.
I guess, right? Now even it's still so hard to attain, but it's kind of the relationship, and I love them so much.
A perfect list in my humble opinion.
Yeah, so good. Well, thank you guys. It's been fun. We were gone, but now we're back and we're never leaving again.
Grad summer's over, but it's academic fall. And I would be remiss to say my actual favorite piece of fall media, which is the fall 2000 J. Crew catalog, which I don't know if you are aware of the banger of this. I have to talk about it before we leave. This is important to the masses. It was promoting the movie The Romantics in theaters in fall 2000. And if you don't know the cast of The Romantics, let me just tell you who was in it. Katie Holmes, Josh Duhamel, Adam Brody, Rebecca Lawrence, and Jeremy Strong.
And I'm looking it up right now. It's the J. Crew?
Fall 2010. I misspoke. I said 2000, but it's 2010.
What an interesting cast of characters.
Incredible, forgotten piece of media. But I think academic fall is in full swing. I can't wait to wear some cable knit sweaters and to be in my dark academia vibes, aka grad school. So that's that. Thank you for listening this week.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week.